Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. The United Nations warns that the conflict in Sudan has caused one of the world's largest human displacements. It began about 10 months ago when the Sudanese military and a powerful parliamentary group began fighting each other for political control. Last week, the UN pleaded for more aid to the region. It said the fighting had displaced more than 10 million people, many of them fleeing to neighboring countries. It's also left 18 million people facing acute food insecurity. James Elder, spokesperson for UNICEF, the UN agency that provides humanitarian aid to children, said in an interview, quote, "It's just absolutely silent. You can only hear the crunching of glass under your feet, and you look and its buildings are pockmarked. Clothes and things, everything's been burned and looted, and there's no one. There's no one. This is the largest displacement of children on the planet. It's mind-boggling," end quote. A new national poll finds that disappointment and fear will be the predominant feelings in either President Joe Biden or former President Donald Trump win the 2024 election. Respondents to a UMass Amherst poll were asked to pick from a list of emotions they would feel if either candidate won, and disappointment was the top selection for both. Fear was a close second. The national poll is based on responses from 1,064 individuals who answered the survey between January 25th and January 30th. For both Biden and Trump, more than half of those polled said the nation would be better off or much better off if they did not run in 2024. Less than one-third said the likely rematch of the 2020 presidential election was good for the country. The helicopter crash in California that killed 5 Marines has hit home for New Englanders, as one of the identified Marines was from New Hampshire. Captain Jack Casey of Dover died in the crash, which occurred during stormy weather in mountains outside of San Diego. At the time of the crash, the crew was conducting routine flight training. Casey attended St. Mary Academy and St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Dover. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu said in a statement, quote, "Captain Jack Casey gave his life while serving his country. We are deeply saddened as we mourn the loss of these 5 Marines. Jack Casey's death is a profound loss for his family, his community, New Hampshire, and the country," end quote. According to the U.S. Marine Corps, Casey joined the Marines on May 16, 2019, and was promoted to the rank of captain on September 1, 2023. Officials said the cause of the crash is under investigation. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced a recall of salad products that were sold at Walmart and Costco amid a nationwide outbreak of listeria that caused sickness in at least 26 people and left 2 people dead. The FDA said Ready Pack Foods voluntarily recalled 4 salad kits as a result of an expanded recall by Rizzo Lopez Foods. The kits contain cheese that could be contaminated with listeria, which can cause serious infections in young children, frail or elderly people, and people with weak immune systems. Ready Pack found the 10.3-ounce market-side Southwest Chop kits, the 8-ounce market-side Bacon Ranch Crunch kits, the 10.5 Ready Pack Bistro Fresh Mex Chopped kit, and the 20-24-ounce Ready Pack Bistro Queso Crunch salad kits were impacted. Ready Pack urged customers who bought any of the affected products to throw them out or return them to the store for a refund. The company has not received any reports of illnesses related to these recalled salad kits. In the world of professional and college sports streaming television, a new partnership has emerged. Fox, ESPN, and Warner Bros. Discovery are joining forces to create a new streaming service combining all of their sports assets. The standalone service has yet to be named, but will be available to ESPN+, Hulu, and Max subscribers. Each company, which between them owns the rights to all the major sports leagues and the top college conferences, will own a third of the new service, and their content will be licensed on a non-exclusive basis. The three companies have been in talks for 6 months, with the primary purpose of trying to lure back sports fans that have already cut the cord. The new service will offer a huge amount of sports under one label, including from Disney-owned networks ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Network, BT Network, ACC Network, and ESPN News. Fox and ESPN will provide rights to NFL games along with Major League Baseball. There will also be content from Fox Sports 1 and 2. Warner Brothers Discovery offers NBA and NHL content through TNT, along with college basketball's March Madness, which also airs on TBS and truTV. The networks also own rights to golf, tennis, NASCAR, and Formula One. The company said pricing will be announced at a later date, but it is expected to be significantly lower than the typical cable sports package. Thanks for watching Braintree today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Let's talk portable electric space heater safety. These heaters must not be left unattended. Place them on a stable base 3 feet from combustibles. Their use is not recommended within a bedroom, but if you must do so, place a smoke detector on the ceiling within the bedroom. Plug a portable space heater directly into the outlet, avoiding extension cords. Thus, do not use lamp cords or power strips for this purpose. Are portable, unvented propane and oil-filled heating appliances safe to use within a residence? No. Massachusetts prohibits their use. These heaters produce asphyxiant gases. These gases can render an occupant incapacitated or dead. Please consider your safety during these upcoming colder months.
Welcome back. An associate of the violent Dorchester-based gang Cameron Street pled guilty Thursday to a drug trafficking charge in federal court in Boston. The U.S. Attorney's Office said the allegations include a cocaine deal in Braintree. Michael Meach Lopez, 35 of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute cocaine, cocaine base, and methamphetamine. According to the news release, Lopez sold cocaine and cocaine base to a cooperating witness in Boston, Braintree, and Pawtucket. Lopez is now facing up to 20 years in prison, supervised release of at least 3 years, and a fine of up to $1 million. U.S. Senior District Court Judge William G. Young scheduled his sentencing for May 6th. South Shore Plaza hosted a unique performance celebrating Lunar New Year on Saturday. In honor of the Year of the Dragon, Yee's Southern Lions, a school based in Quincy, performed. The musical performance and traditional lion dance took place right outside of the mall's anchor store, Macy's, in the main mall. The lion dances offered an interactive touch as the performers playfully included the crowd in their dance. Officials said the school's mission is to share Chinese culture with current and future generations through dance and martial arts. The town has issued a notification to Braintree residents of the potential spring and possibly summer aerial applications targeting mosquito larvae in the larger wetlands of the district. The Norfolk County Mosquito Control District will potentially be conducting helicopter applications of biorational larvicides to control mosquito larvae. The summer wetland locations will be posted before any application should it be warranted. These potential applications will be conducted over specific large wetlands in many towns including Braintree. Any potential applications may be conducted between April 4th and October 28th, 2024. Last week, the Braintree School Committee met to discuss the 2025 fiscal school budget. Contractual pay raises, special education, and transportation costs would add $10 million to the 2024-2025 school year budget. In his presentation to the committee, Superintendent Jim Lee said he is hoping to work with the mayor's office to bring the school requests into line with what the town can afford. Here's a breakdown from Lee on the budget.
We are early in this process, and I want to emphasize that completely. as we begin the work, working directly with the mayor's office and the town, we'll refine these numbers, but we need a place to start. And so we start with what we believe we currently need. So the original initial FY25 budget draft that Ms. Kaufman has put together is a $10 million over existing budget, which represents a 13% increase over the FY24 budget. Why this number is so large, you can see up on the screen, contractual increases represent about $6.5 million of that 10 million. Special education, which I think we've talked about quite a bit in these meetings, continues to escalate as far as costs are concerned. So another $1.2 million there. Long-term substitute is a historically underfunded line. This is about right sizing the budget and making sure the numbers represent what our actual spends would be. Transportation is another place where inflation is really having an impact on us, both with fuel and also buses. Typically, we run 3-year leases on our fleet. At the last time that lease expired, it made more sense to renew the lease from a cost perspective. But with that come older buses that require more maintenance, and so those costs go up as well. Athletics, again, inflation, transportation is up, the rental of facilities is up, the official costs are up, that's about another $350,000. And then inflation in general make up the rest of it. So we fully understand that this is a large number. I would tell you that, on the listservs that I'm a part of, this number is not extraordinary related to other communities. A lot of people are looking at increases of this size and scope. But this is where we are today. And I do need to emphasize there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But as a starting point, this is where we are.
Also during the meeting, the Braintree School Committee announced an unusual opportunity for residents to suggest names for the Early Education Center that will move into the former South Middle School this fall. School Committee Chair Lisa Fisk-Heger explained the application process and set the deadline for all suggestions to be completed by March 4th. The committee will then review all the applications at their next meeting on March 11th. Here's more on the submission guidelines.
And finally, there are some caveats when you're considering a name for the school. If your choice is an individual, it can be no sooner than 5 years from the end of their service to the community. In the case of a deceased individual, a full 5-year waiting period is required from the time of death. The proposal submission will detail in writing the contributions to society and to the Braintree Public Schools in particular, that the individual has made. And finally, an offer of financial contribution to the school district may accompany the naming request, but the school committee is not obligated to accept or reject a name based on financial considerations alone. So we have a few things that we need to decide as read timeline.
A consideration period, right?
Yeah.
So if we're opening up today, is 30 days? Does people think 30 days is?
I think that would be sufficient.
So March 4th or March 5th would be our deadline. So we'll do a 30-day deadline.
Yeah. That would be the day we have our public hearing.
We are not meeting on the March 4th. We're meeting on March 11th. There's a change in the schedule I was going to mention at the end of the meeting. But so if we could get all of the submissions in by March 4th, we could talk about it at the March 11th.
To watch the full meeting, head to BCAM TV's government channels, Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon Channel 26, or go to youtube.com/BCAMTV. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
It's that time of the year again, flu season. Getting vaccinated against the flu and COVID-19 can help keep you, your family, and your community healthy. You can even get both vaccines at the same time. Visit mass.gov/flu-shot to learn more.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. With the presidential primary election on the way in March, there are some registration deadlines to keep an eye out for to make sure you can vote. Massachusetts residents who wish to participate in the presidential primary must register no later than February 24th. Exceptions to this deadline are made for new citizens who can register to vote in person at their local election office by 4 p.m. the day before the election. Proof must be provided of their naturalization ceremony taking place after the general deadline. Registration will be accepted online, by mail, or in person. The Secretary of State's office encourages applying 2 to 3 weeks before Election Day to ensure enough time to receive the ballot and mail it back. Polling places are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. A federal grand jury in Boston has indicted 2 men on charges that they staged armed robberies on the South Shore to help cashiers get visas through a federal program designed to help immigrant victims of crime. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Rambai Patel and Balwinder Singh, both from New York, were arrested and charged in December 2023 with carrying out the scam. Prosecutors said Patel, Singh, and others set up and carried out staged armed robberies of at least 9 convenience stores and fast food restaurants across the country. The South Shore robberies were staged at Richdale Food Shops in Hingham on March 22nd, Michael's Wine and Spirits in Weymouth on June 6th, Yogi's Liquors in Marshfield on June 9th, and Jimmy's Market and Liquors in Randolph on September 11th. Officials say the purpose of the staged robberies was to allow the clerks to claim they were victims of a violent crime on an application for a U visa. A U visa is available to victims of certain crimes who have suffered mental or physical abuse and who have been helpful to law enforcement in the investigation. The case is ongoing. South Shore Hospital is seeing record numbers of patients in the last few months. Due to local hospital closures and a heightened demand for health care, the hospital has been slammed. Dr. Jason Tracy, South Shore Health's Vice President and Chief Medical Officer, said December was the busiest month in the hospital's history, with 360 people per day going into the emergency department for care. With a license from the state for 374 hospital beds, South Shore Hospital is seeing its highest ever capacity. At its peak, the hospital had 560 people admitted for care. As a result, the hospital has had to add treatment spaces to accommodate the additional needs of patients. The situation isn't unique to South Shore Hospital, as emergency rooms statewide are seeing record numbers of patients. Netflix announced on Wednesday that the Boston Red Sox will be featured in 2 upcoming Netflix docuseries. Red Sox chairman Tom Werner said in a statement about the project, quote, "One will relive one of the most magical stories that forever changed this franchise, and the other is a truly groundbreaking endeavor that will provide an inside look at the lives and personalities of today's Red Sox players." End quote. Netflix said its producers will have unprecedented access to players, coaches, and executives through the 2024 season. For the first time, Netflix will follow an MLB team over the course of a full season. The series will debut in 2025. A nationwide blood shortage is being intensified by severe winter weather that forced hundreds of blood drive cancellations across the country. The American Red Cross in Massachusetts is asking residents on the South Shore to roll up their sleeves to give blood or platelets. In an emergency appeal, the Red Cross said since early January, about 265 blood drives across 27 states were canceled due to weather. This left more than 8,000 blood and platelet donations to go uncollected and has left hospitals in short supply of blood. Residents around Braintree, Quincy, Randolph, and Weymouth are encouraged to give blood locally to help. Some of the places to do that include the Quincy Sons of Italy at 120 Quarry Street, the Weymouth Blood Donation Center at 208 Main Street, RICC at 128 Pleasant Street in Randolph, and Stetson Place at 541 Main Street in Weymouth. Thanks for watching Braintree today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment.
James. He was surprised to find out that he has elevated blood pressure, which could turn into high blood pressure. So he talked with his doctor about a healthy path to get his numbers down. He quit smoking, which makes a big difference for his overall heart health. He also cut down on salt by watching out for high sodium on food labels. and added a 30-minute walk 5 days a week to his routine. These healthy steps weren't easy, but lowering his blood pressure was worth it. Learn more about his healthy path.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. With Black History Month underway, it's a wonderful time to look at varying stories, perspectives, and messages conveyed through art. Here are 3 movie recommendations for you to watch. First, MLK FBI is a documentary that explores the U.S. government's surveillance and harassment of Martin Luther King Jr. through newly declassified files. Directed by Sam Pollard, you can watch MLK FBI now on Hulu. Next, Hidden Figures follows 3 brilliant African-American women at NASA, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, who serve as the brains behind one of the greatest operations in history, the launch of astronaut John Glenn into orbit, a stunning achievement that restored the nation's confidence, turned around the space race, and galvanized the world. The film stars Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, and Janelle Monáe. You can watch Hidden Figures now on Hulu. Finally, 13th is a documentary that explores the history of racial inequality in the United States, focusing on the fact that the nation's prisons are disproportionately filled with African Americans. Directed by Ava DuVernay, you can watch 13th now on Netflix. That'll do it for news today. Remember, if you're a customer of Verizon, you can watch BCAM TV in high definition on channel 2128. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll see you next time.